Yeah.
Smooth.
That's the least smooth I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I have no idea why this is the music. Welcome back, everybody.
It sounds like Sunday morning music. You have your coffee, your smooth jazz, your New York Times crossword puzzle.
Yeah, it was like usually for all the other shows, Jason wrote all the music, right? So we have like really original sounds. And then for this one, it was like when we set it up, it was like, hey, I gotta find some music for it. So I went into the library. I'm gonna keep it playing actually, if it's fine with you. And I was like, just listening, and I stumbled across this. And I was like, all right, this is it. This is it. What's up, Essie? Mr. E. I wonder if Mr. E and Essie are related. Oh, so what's going on, Kev? How's everything? How are we
Good,
doing
good.
this fine Sunday morning?
I'm very excited. I've been looking for a Rolling Stones video because the other night they broke out the first Emotional Rescue of tour, and
I
I'm
heard.
very
That's
interested to
wild.
hear. Yeah, I'm very interested to hear what they sound like on that at this point.
Yeah, was there any recordings of it? Did you find anything?
Videos keep popping up. Whole show videos pop up of people with their
Any
phones
good
and stuff
audio
like.
though?
The audio's okay. I mean, enough to listen. I watched the whole Jazz Fest show was up somewhere, and one of the MetLife when they broke out Heartbreaker and
Yeah,
something else. Then a Midnight Rambler. Talk about the Midnight Rambler.
that's cool. I can't believe they're still going. How old are they? They're
I mean, Mick
probably
Jagger has to be
80s.
over 80 because
Yeah.
64 was, I think, when Satisfaction came out.
Wow.
60
That's
years
crazy.
ago.
No.
Right.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
apparently it's all Mick's show. I read this whole article about the Irma Thomas sit-in, and
Yeah.
his Rolling Stones people reached out to Irma. Quint Davis, who puts on the festival, was like, "You want to play with Mick?" And then ultimately, the gist of this article was all the decisions go through Mick,
Well,
so he
yeah.
had the final say or not on it. Not even Keith or the rest of the band. But that was the first time Irma and Mick Jagger sang "Time Is on My Side," a song that she had a hit with before he did, with the
Yeah.
Rolling Stones together. And there's
That's
your
wild.
Rolling Stones minute.
How many farewells and goodbyes have they done? They've done like tons, right?
I don't think they ever frame it as that.
No,
I
they
just
just
think
kind of kept it going.
right. They're just kind of like the Rolling Stones are going on tour again, and you
You know what
automatically
it is? Is every time they go on tour, all my buddies, not like all of them, but people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna catch them this time because it's gonna be it could be the last time."
right.
I feel like
Just
friends have been saying that for like 15 years. Like, "Oh, I'm gonna
right.
catch them this time. It's gonna be
Right.
the
Yeah,
last one."
they don't do like the Who and advertise repeatedly. This is the farewell tour. The Cure has done it a few times.
Yeah.
I think I've seen each of those 3 times on their final tour over
Well, I
different
mean,
years.
what's up, Fish Eddie, Steve, Brian, Shermith?
In
Yeah,
89 when the Who toured for Tommy, that was going to be the final tour.
I love Tommy. You're not a Who fan, right? That's one of the ones you're not a big fan of.
I'm not a big fan of the Who.
Right, that's what I was saying. The Who.
Yeah. So I get that, but I mean, of course I was going to go see the Who because you want to put that on your list of, hey, I've seen this band before.
That was like my introduction to like psychedelia and like high school and stuff with like me and my buddies. My friend Joey lived down the street and his dad, he had a single dad who like worked night shifts. So like in true teenager fashion, took complete advantage of it. And we just sit there and watch like Tommy and smoke. And you know what I mean? Like that was like the introduction into like that world. It didn't last long. Like it's not like we were in that phase for long, but because then we got into like Fish and other like more modern music. But like those were probably the best like summer of my childhood though. Listening
Right?
to Pink
Yeah.
Floyd, The Who. We did all this cliche, stereotypical like 60s, 70s
Zeppelin.
Zeppelin, right? Pink Floyd, and we used to watch like we watch, like Dark Side of the Moon or Tommy and all these things, and just sit there and melts into the couch.
Mhm. So I saw this thing. Some friends of mine went to see Tommy on Broadway, and they had
Oh,
a
I
whole
didn't even know that
list.
was on Broadway. That's funny.
Yeah, they have a whole list of drinks at the venue. Like specifically, one was called Sparks and something, and one was called See Me Drink Me. Um, they had all these. So I was thinking at Mondegreen, I'm going to come up with some signature cocktails like vanilla, vodka, and Bailey's shaken over ice and strained, and call it the Ghost because it'll be all cloudy and white and murky.
Uh, who are you selling these to?
I'm not selling them. I'm going to make them as complimentary for people who come to hang out at the Wook Plus tent.
Oh, nice. I'll
You want
come
a
and hang out at the.
cocktail?
I was gonna say I'll come and hang out at the Wook Plus then. Give me a cocktail.
I want
Oh,
to do one
Essie's
called
getting all
the
butthurt because I'm not going to the chat. What do you want us to talk about, Essie? He wants us to talk about I don't care.
I want to do one called the Mimi Fishman with cucumber vodka.
You should do Monday Green though, like misheard. You know what I mean? Like
I can do a Mondegreen cocktail and make a green cocktail that's tequila,
no.
cream
Okay.
de mint, cream de caseo, and milk.
Okay. But don't do tequila, man. I can't do tequila. There's two liquors I can't do anymore. It's tequila and SoCo. And they're from similar time periods. I'm like, nope.
I drank tequila when I was like 14, 15. I got so sick off tequila, like 24 hours sick. And I didn't drink it again for probably 20 years. But then when I was older and my body had, now I can handle it. But I know to respect it. You have to
I
respect.
haven't even tried it since so it was '06 was I don't remember the day or time of year, but I remember it was '06. We had like just one like a really rough night, went out. It was like one of those like tequila nights, right?
Mhm.
Margaritas to start, shots to end. And I had never before or since been that sick and had a harder time. And now it's like one time I've gone near it and smelled it, and I was like, no, just from the smell. So maybe like since I'm older now, maybe I probably could handle it, but I don't even try. Like I can't even think about like on or we got to change the subject because like I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh god,
There's enough other out there to drink. You don't even have to go there.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, so my drink. I don't know why we're talking about alcohol on a Sunday morning show, but my drink of choice. I don't drink that much anymore, but when I do, I drink like Manhattans, like Crown Manhattans. It's like
Mhm.
I don't know. That's my
You ever
go-to.
have a Washington apple
Yeah, not a
where you take
Washington apple.
Crown and what is it, cranberry juice and something else mixed together?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
what's
You know what's
next, Essie?
funny is SoCo. I feel like that's the one that is like the unifier. Everybody's like, oh yeah, same thing, same thing.
I ended up in the hospital once from drinking SoCo. They had to give me an IV
Oh God.
because I was so dehydrated.
Yeah. Last time I
It's the
had
sugar.
SoCo.
SoCo is like drinking sugar water, though.
Yeah, it's like peachy, right? I don't even remember. It's been so long. Last time I saw or I had SoCo was at an Allman Brothers concert,
Of
like
course.
25 years ago. So I was like, it's been a while.
It's so funny that like alcohol is attached to bands like Skinnerd and Motorhead. Both are like Jack Daniels bands,
Yeah.
They and what's their names? Van Halen. Didn't what's his name have a bass that was a bottle of Jack Daniels at one time? Mark
Yeah.
Anthony.
Yeah. Oh, hey, I'm gonna plug something real quick. Real quick. So I have a side thing going on because I think I mentioned on one of the shows. I've been coloring with my daughter a lot and I really enjoy it. And then she watches coloring on YouTube like in the morning when we're getting ready and whatever. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. Why not record? So if you want, go check out Coloring Wook. It's a coloring book, but with Coloring Wook. I'm gonna start posting it's just like relaxing, arty ASMR coloring videos. So it's fun, dude. I really been enjoying it. It's a nice little like you know what I needed, Kev, is like I need another hobby.
Right. Needed
It's not
another
like
channel to manage. I hear you.
well, no, that one's zero pressure. I don't like I put like 3 up in a day, I put none up in a month. I don't care. It's just like as I do it with, I'm gonna post and there's no pressure, but I just felt the need to be creative, I guess. What are you talking about? You talk about the arenas? That's pretty interesting. What's
Yeah,
going on in the music
J-Lo.
industry right now? And what, the
J-Lo
Black Keys?
canceling her tour, and instead of being honest like the Black Keys eventually were the next day, she's like, "I needed to spend more time with my family."
That's bullshit.
Okay.
She's back with Ben Affleck, right?
And Ben apparently is a complete douchebag, according to my daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which I could see. I've never been a Ben Affleck fan. He was
Really?
always like he was the poor man's Matt Dillon, you know?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, yeah.
I was gonna say I always liked him less than Matt Damon. I'm a huge fan of that like duo though, like the Kevin Smith movies and like Good Will
Right.
Hunting and like all the
Good
shit
Will
they did
Hunting, yeah.
together. But I agree. Like I love that like all the shit they did. But whenever I see them together, I always like Matt Damon more.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess I don't know because it's not just her. Like, yeah, she overextended, but like, there's been a number of artists that are overextending, and there's some that are haven't canceled yet. But like, I've seen the screenshots where like they're half sold arenas and shit, and I'm like,
Yep.
it's hard to tell if it's the artists were never like never at that level and shouldn't have been doing it, or if tickets across the board are down. You know?
Right. Well, I mean, for me, part of the Black Crowes thing is they haven't released new music in forever. You know, the last time they toured, they had booked an arena, but that was pre-COVID. I think people's mindsets have
That's what I'm
changed.
saying. I don't think it. Yeah, I don't think it's just the bands. I think like it's just kind of the same thing as like movie theaters and shit, right? Like, just less
Well,
people are doing it.
what did T said 3 tickets to see Futuroso at the IMAX was $72 to walk in the door before you even bought a snack.
Yeah, Furiosa. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what Sewell's saying. It's getting too expensive. I saw Black Crows at MSG, so yeah, they definitely could sell out arenas at one point.
Right.
That was uh that had to been during the hiatus or something because Trey Tab was playing with them on New Year's.
They opened, right.
Yeah, tab open for Black Crows on New Year or whatever that was, like 04, 05 or something. I saw that.
Mhm.
Um, are you casually taking bumps?
Oh no, my cat was sitting on my was like rubbing up against me 10 minutes before we came on, and I'm
You're
having an
like,
allergic reaction to the damn cat.
I love that's like the assumption.
Bloodies and
Yeah.
bumps. I'm having a Bloody Mary and
Come hang out at Wook Plus third
come
Monday
on
Green.
down. But you know,
Beignets and bumps.
I saw another article related to it that said 61% of people consider going out for fast food a luxury now.
Well, that's mostly because of the cost, I think. Have you I mean, you're not a big fast food person. I
I'd have
unfortunately
never,
was.
yeah.
I've stopped and like I should have stopped years ago because of like health, right? Because like, you gain a bunch of weight and it's disgusting and everything. But that wasn't the reason. The reason I stopped is because they fucking all doubled in price over the last 3 years. Like a freaking combo is like $15. I was like, yeah, no, fuck that.
Yeah, a few years back, I decided I needed to lose weight. It's probably been like 10 years now. And my theory was not to eat anywhere that had a drive through.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I
Just
like
cut
that.
them out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hope the industry overall stays strong and bounces back. I don't think it's going to affect our world. I don't want to say immune, but I feel like the jam community and in particular bands like Dead and Co and Fish, like there's like a diehardness, right? Like there's like a cult personality kind of thing going on. So like I feel like they're gonna be able to maintain where they are as long as they don't do anything crazy. But just in general, I think that, it's sad to see like, ticket sales down and that the industry not doing
Right.
as well as it
Yeah,
had been.
I feel like bands need to embrace the Garth Brooks model. Play a smaller place, you sell it out in the first week, you add a second show.
And just keep rocking it, adding shows. Right, you get the accessibility, you keep the prices reasonable, you can keep your overhead down, right, and your touring costs down, and they don't need to build these monster behemoth corporate-owned, like, big-ass venues that are run through fucking Live Nation. You could do, like, smaller and mid-level venues. Yeah, I agree with all of that. 'Cause it's not
So
just
maybe
the
that's it.
arenas, like, the festivals have all how many festival I mean, I lost count. There were a dozen festivals that canceled this year
Yep.
or announced that this year is the last year, like, they managed to pull it off this year, but they're done.
Right. The other day, this weekend, P Funk is touring with Dumpster Funk. They had 2 shows scheduled for Chicago. They
Yeah,
canceled the
someone in the
Sunday
Discord,
show.
June Farmer, was there yet last night. It looked awesome.
Yeah, they canceled the Sunday show and then moved it to a different venue as just a one night thing.
Yeah. P-Funk's not selling out big places though, right? That's clubs.
Yeah, P Funk was huge in like 89, 90 when they first like got back together and it was the P Funk mob and all. But they've kind of run it into the ground. There was a point where George Clinton would come out for maybe a half hour, and most of it was his kids rapping, which is not what you're expecting when you go see P Funk. You want to hear,
Funk.
Bop Gun or something,
Right. I mean, I love P-Funk, but yeah, I could see
And
that
Dumpster
happening.
Funk, if you haven't seen him, they lost Nick Daniels the third recently. He passed away, but Dumpster Funk is like the ones who carry the torch from the Meters Neville brothers lineage out of New Orleans. So
Are they still touring?
yeah. I don't know if they replaced Nick Daniels because they had 2 bass players was part of their thing. So they still had Tony Hall.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, they lost their. I mean, Nick Daniels was a good vocalist too, so they lost that part of it. I'm not sure Tony Hall sings.
I don't know.
So
I'm familiar with them loosely, but like I feel like that was like caught up in like a side thing. You know what I mean? Like music that like I'm like you put on, but I don't know well. You know what I mean? Like I have that whole middle category of like bands that I like put them generically into a playlist, and when they come on, I'm like, oh, this is fun, but like I couldn't like read you their catalog or whatever.
right.
Actually, I would say the majority of music, that's kind of where it is for me, like mindless listening of like just I generically know that I like this kind of music. And then people are like, oh, what's your favorite song? I'm like, I don't know. It's like
Yeah, that one that
whatever.
just played. Yeah.
The one that just played. That's like, you know who's like that for me? This is the one that's like the most ironic is like Snarky Puppy. They're one of my favorite bands, and I have no idea what any of their songs are called because they don't really have lyrics, and I don't really listen to lyrics anyway. I just put on a playlist, like a Snarky Puppy playlist, and they're like insanely phenomenal musicians. But if you were to ask me, like, name 3 songs, you know, like Katie's always like, name 3 songs, I'd be like, oh, you caught me. I have no idea.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you don't need that. Who gives a shit, right? You just put it on and listen to it and enjoy
I
it.
mean,
And I get
I
lost in
used
it.
I don't know how many times in olden times I recorded Galactic, and half of the
I
show was
remember one, yeah.
instrumental. And I'd spend like hours trying to like listen to the studio versions of songs and figure out the name.
Yeah, that a perfect example of another band like that I like. I know I like them. I'll listen to them. What's his name? Stanton Moore.
Stan Moore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stanton Moore. He's one of my awesome drummer.
Mhm.
Like exactly. I'll put them on. I'm like, I don't know what I'm listening. You know what song it is, but fucking it rocks. He has so much touch, and he has that New Orleans feel down so well. Phenomenal drummer.
He is. He is the man. He is the man.
Yeah.
And they own Tips, which is crazy. I mean, that's the craziest story. They bought Tips, what, 2 months before the pandemic? And then they
I
made it
didn't realize
through.
that.
I mean, yeah, you buy a place, you need to start paying the bills right away, and then they were shut down.
Oh, you know, that makes sense because I seen he did a bunch of videos. He started doing like drum lessons and videos from Tips during the pandemic. And I didn't know why all of a sudden, like, you know, he like opened up this drum school and started doing all these like online videos. It's like he had to figure out some fucking money, man.
Exactly. And then they started streaming the shows. They really
Yeah,
need to up their game, though. They have like a cab. You've never been to Tips? Tips has
no.
like the soundboard in the middle of the floor underneath the overhang that's the upper balcony, and that's where they stick the camera. So they can
Oh,
always
like
do a
real
live
limited.
stream from there. Yeah, but it's the one shot,
Yeah.
which is good. That's what people want for Fish. So
No, people want choices. I know everybody's like, Give me Kuroda. If they did a live stream that was fixed on the Kuroda cam, people would be bitching. They want
Man, I
choice.
couldn't see Trey what he was wearing.
Right, right. Fish Fashion would be like, "Oh, I couldn't see Mike's scarf." You know, what's that pattern on page? Like, but they had the technology to like give us the ability. I think they could do this to like switch cameras, right? Like you have
Exactly.
like 5 cameras, and then you could just click and pick.
Exactly.
Or do like I mean, the Sphere, they got it by day 2, like, do the mixing it up, but the predominant, like, go-to should be the Kuroda cam. Like, that
Right.
should be the problem is, like, on tour, they usually only do the Kuroda cam, like, 2 or 3 times, and the rest of the time, they're on the band. It's like they gotta fix the balance. Do the Kuroda cam, like, 40-50% of the time, and then the other half, mix it up.
That's a
See,
lot.
I don't buy that mystery. I think you say that, but I think after a while, I don't know how often you couch horror, but I feel like after a while you'd be like, "Oh, I want to see the band a little bit." Although, fuck it, I'm in the lawn in person every time. Now you can't see shit from there, and it doesn't bother me.
But you want to be on the lawn.
I do want to be on the lawn. You don't?
I do.
Yeah,
I hate having seats because I sit with whoever the ticket is that
I
I'm
know.
with.
I
Not
like
that there's
seats if
anything
I'm
wrong with
going
that person.
solo, but if you're
Yeah.
with a group of people,
Right. But like
yeah,
that New Year's run in April a couple
yeah,
years ago,
yeah,
we all were in the hotel together. We all hung out before the shows. We all hung out after the shows, but we all went into the shows and went to our little separate corners.
right. That sucks.
You know?
Well, MSG is really bad too for that because you can't really like combine or negotiate. Like it's packed tight. Like there's other
Right.
I've been to like other arena shows that are either GA or they're just not as tight and you could get a couple people over on your row, but
Right.
no,
You have to be on
I
the floor at MSG
yeah,
if you want to hang with the group.
I can't pull it. I don't know how people do it every fucking time. Like the same people. I mean, maybe it's a money thing, but like I've tried. I'm like many times I've tried and it's like the cost and like the availability
It's
and
definitely a
fucking
money thing.
yeah.
Definitely. Because it costs more to buy those tickets.
Right, right,
And they're the
right.
ones in high demand.
Right. You gotta be in the know and have the money.
Right.
I was all the way up in the, yeah. Oh, well, I'm not complaining. I'm sick of MSG, though. I hope they don't I mean, they're going to keep doing it. I want more sheds
That's
and
Trey's home venue. Trey has like
I
stock in
know.
MSG now.
And after the Bakers, I was praising it. I was like, "This is the greatest venue ever. I fucking love seeing Fish here. All the haters are just country folk, blah, 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 being stupid." But now I'm like, the city's kind of like it's heavy, it's overwhelming, it's
Right.
dirty,
Mi-
it's
minimum five
expensive.
minimum $500 a day for uh just the room and the tickets and eating, and if you're flying in, you're spending $750, 1,000 a day to see a 4-day run.
Right. Whereas, like, I'm thinking like Bethel the last couple of years, it's like you throw $100 in for the rental, the
Right.
Airbnb or whatever, and then like you buy a case and like some sandwiches and you hang out in
Right.
the grass all day. Like
Right. I spent less going to Dick's than I do going to New York, and I can drive to New York.
yeah. Dick's is fun. I'm not doing it this year though, because of Monday Green.
I don't
But
think I might fly in for Sunday or something so I can
really?
stand in the rain. Yeah, that was Friday 2 years ago. My fault. It wasn't Sunday 2 years ago.
Yeah. The lightning round that I was at was the best night of the run. That was 2 years ago, right?
Right, that was the Friday, right. And then
That was perfect.
last year, the lightning night was the worst night.
Right. Right. That's what I heard.
They just couldn't find it. But the night before they found it. So what can you do?
Brian, do you talking about drones for cameras or drones for like the theatrics like Dead and Co did last year? He's asking if they're gonna I see now. Mr. E said the drone shots. Oh, like at the sphere.
Yeah, they were cool.
Yeah. No, I think that's a venue thing.
That's dangerous, isn't it? Shouldn't there be like safety concerns?
Yeah, I don't. They might do it for Monday Green if they're gonna do like a doc or something. You know what I mean? Like they might have more professional footage and shit, but I don't think they're gonna do that at like the normal sheds. Yeah, Mister. The plan is now, and like all this is subject to change because we're wooks. But the game plan is to do after shows after all the nights of Monday Green. But the only difference is instead of saying 15 minutes after encore, it's going to be
Whenever.
whenever after encore. Because like we don't want to rush out. We want to have fun, like do whatever we're doing.
Right.
So it might be a couple hours later, it might be the next morning, but like
Let me throw this out here and see if anybody has heard this. I was told that the plan is there's two
we
separate
didn't
GA
finish our
camping.
plans. But we all right. Let's go into
Oh,
that. That's all right. No, it's all
well,
right.
but
That's all
this
right.
I think feeds into it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell us the plan.
The I what I've heard is that there's two GA spots, which we knew, one up by Glen Close, and there's one GA camping down by the family and the Full Monday and the
Down
racetrack.
by the
And
highway.
right, what I've been told is they're going to make 10 camping the one up by Glen Close.
Yeah.
So if you have your car and you're camping, you're going to be at the lower GA lot.
Well, there's three actually, I think, right? There's like a high one up by the upper level. That's gonna be 10 only. Then there's like the main one, and then there's another one across the highway. And so I think the big one is the car camping for early arrivals, and then the far ass one, which is like the worst of the three, is gonna be for late arrivals. Um
So we should be trying to arrive early.
Car early, I think, is ours because if we're gonna be broadcasting, we're gonna need power source, right?
Right,
That's the
right.
only thing. I would be fine with tent only, but like, how the fuck do you set up for that
You have
afterwards?
to haul everything in. We need a damn wagon.
I have a wagon. We could do that.
They might not let you bring it in because they said nothing that can go faster than a walk. And you could see somebody hopping in the wagon and trying to go for a ride.
Oh, you mean like a golf cart? I thought you
No,
meant
no,
like
no,
I like
like a little red wagon.
yeah. That's what I have.
But you could hop in that. I could get going fast in one of them and hop in like a go-kart, try bobsled thing. We could do bobsled wagon races down the main strip in the campsite.
Oh
We're in
man.
trouble now. We're in trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
there's no way
we
they're not gonna let you bring wagons. That
well,
like all this shit.
right. What we should do is if we'll get there early, we'll do the early car camping, and then that night try to set it up maybe and run a test broadcast to see if we can even make it work.
Well, T's gonna be in a hotel anyway, most likely, so we could give him the home base, and then you and I just get lit and
Have a
call in from
camera
our
and he
phones.
right.
And he actually does the broadcast.
Right, he's gonna be hanging out.
Yeah, no, he is. I just give him shit.
We're gonna get him all fired up, and he'll be
I know
ready to raid.
I know his like not cocktail, but like the cocktail of things that it takes to keep him going.
Mhm.
We'll get him going.
Make sure we have a tank nearby.
Yeah, I was good. Not that cheap shit. He wants the $20 mega balloons.
Right, I want medical. We need a blue tank next to us.
Holy shit, that's so fucking great memories, man.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna do that, then my friend Penny said she had an extra GA ticket. So I can just get that, tell her that I'll take that since we're just gonna be buying the GA
Well,
and not trying
let's talk to T though. Don't cause let's yeah, but yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. But I don't want to speak for the group. But yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, we're definitely gonna do that.
I think it's impossible to get like the Glen Close camping RV thing now.
Nothing's impossible, man. We haven't even begun to try. All right. Speaking of Monday Green and festivals, I'm really, really excited to announce a new, what do you call it? A program, a new show,
Series.
a new series. Well, I'm gonna do the season one thing. I like this because I like the idea of. So I'm gonna give. We got time. We're only a half hour in, so I'm gonna take a minute to describe everything again. So there were concerns about doing the Sunday show through summer tour, right? Because it's like a lot of us. We're doing recaps every night, 5 days a week after Fish. We're gonna keep Live going, or the lot. And so doing the Sunday morning show, it was gonna be a bit much. Plus, it. So also, I mentioned last week, I'm really excited about Monday Green, and I have not, even though I've seen, a bunch of shows, have not caught a festival. So I decided to do this project. So you put these two ideas together. We're going to be replacing the Sunday morning show, us just bullshitting about the news like we do on Wednesday. And we have a new show called Fish Tales. And the first season, I'm sticking with Fish Tales. I hope you guys don't mind. And the first season is going to be the festivals. So starting next Sunday, it'll be Clifford Ball. And then every Sunday, we will have the next festival in order. And then that leads up to where the Sunday of Monday Green will be Monday Green, right? So the timing works out perfectly. And we're going to have interviews from all sorts of people. Kev's going to be one of the big one. A couple other Benji. I don't want to give it all away, but yeah, it's cool. So we're gonna do like a little mini doc, and we're gonna hear stories and relive the memories. And basically, it's just so I could get super hyped as hell about the fish festivals.
And then
And
when tour's over, does Sunday morning ever come back, or is it always going
I
to be
think
Fish
Sunday
Tales?
morning will come back in the fall or after tour as like the off season thing, right? And then season 2 of Fish Tales will be
Will be fall tour.
like New Year's Eve or Halloween or something. Will be next. No, not even fall tour. Probably next summer. You know what I mean? Like keep it
Okay.
as like
A
I don't know,
summer
maybe in the
thing,
fall.
right? Depending on what kind of tour they do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to be decided. What time of day are you thinking going live? Oh, for Fishtails? I don't know. What do
Well,
you
it's
think,
going to be
Kev?
pre-recorded, so
Same time, same place.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep the same time slot.
And then when we do the live thing, one of us will be hanging out in the chat, probably talking. Like if you
Oh yeah,
watched
exactly.
panels and frames last week, we pre-recorded it because
There'll be a live
everybody
chat.
wasn't right. And I
Yeah.
got in the chat and was hanging out a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah. So
which was funny
it's
because people thought they
okay.
were watching something live.
That was the idea, and then you had to ruin it. Fishtails is going to be pre-produced though. Like we're not going to try to make it look like we're doing this, like just two people talking live. Like I want to. So like as I talk to people, if they have pictures or videos or anything from that time period to like bring us into it, I'm gonna cut in footage from like Fish and from like Clifford. There's that awesome MTV footage, and there's other
Right.
from Dinner and Movie. So like I think it'll be cool like each week, and they're not gonna be super long, but I would like to put a little effort into like bring everybody back. So like if you did go to these festivals, it'll be a nice stroll down memory lane. And if you didn't like me, it'll be like, maybe you'll hear something new or kind of like
Right.
just build up the hype and we'll see. I think it's
I'll
just gonna be
reach
like
out
this
to
organic
Penny.
thing that we do.
I'll reach out to Penny because if anybody has pictures of me at any festival, it's her. Actually, I have pictures of me in the traffic jam waiting to get into Big Cypress.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. So I feel like some weeks are gonna be a little bit lighter, and then like other weeks, like the Big Cypress week is gonna be probably a big episode.
Lots
Right.
of
I
people on.
right. Although it's yeah, I don't know. I feel like even like Festival later or Super Bowl, like we could still make a big show out of them. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, and I'm gonna
Right.
do a bonus episode for Curveball.
Okay.
That's gonna be a sorrowful
Right.
episode, but
With Curveball, I did we had the Radiators play in Baltimore that weekend. We did a
yeah.
private show called Rehab is for Quitters. And the guitar tech roadie for the Radiators was this guy Nesto, and he turned 21. Right. So after the Friday night show, we convinced Dave Malone to give him the weekend off. And I put him in a car with my buddy Pat, and they drove up to oh no, that was
Curveball.
Coventry. My bad. That wasn't Curveball. That was Coventry. But
How do
still,
you
it's a
get those
good
two
story.
mixed up? They were like 20 years apart.
He turned 21. He had never seen Fish before, and Coventry was his first show.
Coventry was supposed to be my first festival, and I couldn't go. I couldn't go last minute. I regret it. Cause like even that, as much as people bitch about it as horrible and like emotional and all that shit, I still, in hindsight, wish I could have experienced. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like I don't know.
I'm sure the interpersonal things and the lot experience and all that was great. Everybody was probably like, what the fuck happened with Clyde? But beyond that, I mean, how many people knew at that time how bad things were with Trey?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember ever. I mean, I remember lots of people talking about,
It's hard not to
haters.
know looking back in hindsight because it's now all like you hear him play, you see him talk like that Vegas, all of 2.0. Oh no, this was before two. No, yeah. This was at the end of 2.0, right?
Yeah.
So, like, all of those shows, like, in hindsight, it's obvious, right? Like, those Vegas shows we listened to, you're like, "Oh, yeah, he's fucked up," but, like, in the moment, everybody was fucked up, so it's hard to
Right. And
see.
I don't know much. I saw 3 shows in early 2003 before right before I found out that my ex-wife was pregnant, and I did not see Fish again until Merriweather in '09.
Yeah.
You know? So I
I,
missed a lot of it, but I've always heard the lot was ugly. Like a lot of pills floating around the lot too, and I guess maybe it feeds into each other.
yeah. But, I
That
mean,
being Trey's drug of choice and all.
but I feel like I don't know. I feel like you still see ugly shit online, and you still see I mean, no, it was. I think some of that's tinted glasses looking back, you know what I mean? Like, I don't
Mhm.
know, like, right now, I wouldn't say that lot now is wholesome, and I wouldn't say lot there was, like,
But it's a lot
just, like
different. It's much more Disney than it is, something. It seemed like it was a little darker
yeah, but
back then.
I think that's your tinted glasses, though, that's the
My
way you're
perception,
remembering it.
right?
Yeah, because, like, I'm thinking about, like, Deer Creek lot in particular or Dick's lot, like, there were, the same shit that I saw back then. I mean, I'm not talking about 1.0, I didn't see that, but, like, late 2.0 and early 3.0, like, I don't think it was all that different. It's just your perception changes, you know? I also think there's a danger level to it when you're a kid, like, a teenager or a young adult,
Mm,
like, not a danger level, but, like, everything was illegal back then, and, like,
right.
it was, like, unheard now it's, like, I see people fucking dropping acid and taking shrooms everywhere, but it's, like, I'm desensitized to it. You're just like, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen it for
But
30 years and it's legal. So not legal
but
for shrooms,
also
but
also when they came back for 3.0, a lot of us were older. We'd established families,
that's what
had
that's
kids,
what I
and that
mean.
changed the dynamic of the lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. But there's still kids doing,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, I don't know, man. I don't know I'm not I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know what we're talking about.
No, you're making a valid point that when you do look back, you sometimes make things better or worse than they were.
Well, you know why I think that, and that's what part of the reason I want to dig into these interviews and push it a little bit is because to get ready for them, I was watching a lot of the old footage of like the lot and stuff, and in my mind, the way you guys talk about '96, I expected to see something, right? And then I watch it, and it was not that different looking, without being there and feeling it and without the emotions. Just looking at it on screen, it didn't look that different than fucking what I see on lot now. Like yeah, people were younger but like it's groups of people with their crew around cars, sitting around, drinking, smoking, telling stories, listening to music, little fiascos, but nothing, you know what I mean? So like no, undoubtedly there were parts that were different. Times change, things change, but I also think that it tends to get exaggerated in our minds a little bit because of where you are personally in your life.
Mm,
I look back at like 12 and 13. Those were my crazy years, right? Like with Fish, where
mm.
like we went really hard. And like to me, there's like those lots were fucking filthy. But like I'm sure I talked to you or like to you, they're like, oh man, it was so tame in 12. Right. Like they weren't doing shit at 12.
Right.
And like it's the same thing now is like I've gone with my daughter to like Atlantic City and it was like Disney World, right?
Mm.
But then I've gone to Dick's with you and I'm like, it was not Disney World. So it's like it depends on who you're with and what you're doing. And Yeah, it's funny how perspective and your perception changes things like that. It's gonna be fun to dig in though. I can't wait to hear stories. I hope think I haven't we haven't talked about it all, but think about some really good stories from. That's what I think the best part of the show is gonna be is like to get like personal and like put yourself in the experience, like
Right,
not the cliches of it, but like the actual like little details of it
right.
is I think really where it's gonna be interesting for me.
Yeah, me running up just to see the flatbed thing for like 2 minutes and not
I was
bothering
gonna
to
ask,
chase
that's
after
one of
it.
the things we were gonna talk about was if you caught it. That's funny. See, if you were
I
there
was
now,
like,
you would have been sleeping, and then you would have woken up and be like, "Ah, fuck."
The guy well, we'll save the story.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
say
yeah.
because I don't wanna ruin it now, but it's a good story of why I only saw 2 minutes of the flatbed jam.
How if you had to guesstimate how many lights were on the truck, how many do you remember there being?
Lights?
Lights, like the little lights on the truck?
I don't know, they had them around the flatbed part, like, outlining the stage, I think.
Okay. I
I
was
mean
talking to Benji, and then I saw some reviews online, and everybody's like, "There were like a billion lights. There's like so many lights. There's like, look at all those lights." And then you see the video of it.
you could see it, like, moving, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, no, but then,
from the
like, you look at the
brightness
set,
of it.
it's like a couple strings of Christmas lights. It's cool, but, like, it goes back to that memory. It's like your memory is like, they had thousands of lights on this
Woo!
truck.
Angels descended from heaven.
What's up, Pete? Pete agrees with me, I think. I remember seeing Fish in the '70s. Wholly different band back then. I love that joke. I don't know who started that online, but that shit's funny. Escalated. All right. I'm running out of shit to talk about in Steam. You got
Yeah,
anything else you want to bring up?
Tuesday we're doing a Vegas Dead show that I believe was from 93, the last night the 16th that was Travis's first show for Wook Club. So make sure
Can you
you
do me
tune
a
in at
favor and get
1 o'clock.
that link out and tweet it out today so people have a chance to listen?
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to get a thumbnail.
We got to do better about getting the Wook Club announced earlier. So, I feel like I just
Well,
want to
if we
give
do
people
it
as much of a
today,
heads up as possible.
right? Basically, if you're into the Wook Club, make sure that you take your Monday at work that you're going to be listening to a Fish or Dead show.
Or join our Discord. We talk about it on there too a lot. Actually, the link for the Discord is in the description. You should definitely join that.
And we announced the show right then there. So if you're on the
Yeah.
Discord, you're going to know that night or the next day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's your shirt, Kev? Soko high. Zeke? Nice.
God, Zeke is the keyboard player for the Radiators.
It's a sick shirt.
Yeah, I gave him one, and he looked at it. He's like, "What? Like got milk?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm gonna wipe my keyboard off with it."
Fuck you, Zeke.
He loved it. I
Damn.
told him I one night I was like, "Dude, I'm getting married tomorrow," and he's like, "I'm sorry to hear that."
Man, he was right.
Love it, love it. And
Wise
he played this song
motherfucker.
called "My Gal" for us that says, "A rich gal drinks champagne, poor gal do quite the same. My girl drink old shoe polish, but she'll kill you just the same," or something.
So funny.
Anyway, with that, we'll see you soon.
All right. Later, guys. Go check out Coloring Book. Later. Oh, man.